Welcome to Lesson 4. I'm Al Swigert. This course follows the content of my book, Scratch Programming Playground. You can read this book online for free at inventwithscratch.com. In this lesson, we'll finish creating our Rainbow Lines art project. So in the last lesson, we had our dot that was bouncing around the screen. So we're making progress to our final program. But before we continue any further, let's go ahead and take a moment to click on File and Save. You really ought to save your program about every 10 or 15 minutes or so, just so if something crashes, then you won't lose a lot of work. Now I'm going to save this in the offline editor on my computer by typing my first name and then the name of the project, say like Rainbow Lines. This way anybody else who's using Scratch on my computer can save using their first name, and we can tell from the file name whose project is whose. Now if you're on the online editor, you'll save it by typing in the name of the project here in this text box, and then just clicking on File Save. You don't have to add your name because it'll be saved under your personal account. So for this program, we want 3 of these dots bouncing around. Now I could click on Paint New Sprite and then redraw the sprite and add all of this code again, but there's a nice shortcut that Scratch gives us. Let's click on the sprite in the sprite area and select Duplicate. And this will create a brand new sprite, and this sprite has the exact same code as the other sprite. I'm going to move this script down just so you can see the difference, because otherwise the code is the exact same. So this is .2's code, and then we can select this and we'll see .1's code now. So this will save us a lot of time, especially because we need to go ahead and duplicate this and get 3 dots. Now Scratch is smart enough to realize, oh okay, the sprite I was duplicating ends with a number, so the new sprite I'll create will just be the next number higher up. So it'll name it for us automatically. That's really nice. Let's go ahead and just click on the green flag. You notice, wow, they're just bouncing all over the place. Even though they all have the exact same code, the point and direction pick random number block, this random number will be completely different for all 3 sprites. So it won't be the same random number. We're going to create one more dot as well by duplicating that. This dot though will be slightly different. We're not going to keep any of this code, so I'm going to just drag that over the center part to delete it. I'm going to open up its info panel and rename it from .4 to drawing dot. And this will be the dot that does all of our line drawing. Now all of these dots look similar, but there's this little trick you can use to identify them. When you click on a sprite in the sprite area, you can see it'll briefly flash on the stage as well. You can see when I clicked on .2, this sprite flashed. I'm going to click on .1 again. Keep an eye on this dot on the stage, and you can see it flashes when I just select it. So I can see this is .1, and this is .2, and this is .3. I'm going to put them in order right here. So .1 is here, .2 is here, and then .3 is here. And here's our drawing dot. There's a concept in Scratch called turtle drawing, and you're going to see all of this in the pen category of code blocks. In order to draw in Scratch, you need to have a sprite that puts a pen down on the stage and then starts moving, and the sprite will draw a line as it moves around the stage. You can sort of think of this as like if you gave a turtle a marker in its mouth, and the turtle then move the marker or the pen down on the ground and started walking around, it would start drawing a line as it moved around the stage. So we're going to take this drawing dot and we'll have it go to .1 and then put the pen on the ground, and then we'll have it move to .2 and it'll draw a line as it moves from .1 to .2, and then we'll move from .2 to .3, and that will draw the second line of the V. So let's start creating this script. We'll have to start with the brown events categories when green flag clicked block, and then let's go back down to the pen category. Let's see, well let's think about this. We want it to go to .1 first, so we'll have to start with the dark blue motion category. Let's grab this block, go to mouse pointer, and snap that into place. Now we don't want it to go to wherever the mouse pointer is on the stage, so let's click on this black triangle and change this to .1. So the drawing dot will go to .1. It'll instantly teleport to .1's location. And now we want it to put the pen down on the ground. So in the pen category, Let's grab this turquoise block that says pen down and snap it into place. And let's go back to the dark blue motion category and grab a couple more of these blocks. Remember, you want go to, you don't want this go to XY. They're kind of similar, so it's easy to get them mixed up. But grab these two go to blocks. We'll go to dot 2, and then from dot 2 we'll go to dot 3. And then we'll be done drawing, so we'll grab this pen up block from the turquoise pen category. So let's go ahead and test this out by clicking on the green flag. Oh, okay, well, that seemed to work sort of. I mean, it drew the line, but then these dots kept moving around, and it only drew this once, and that's because we only had it go through once. There's no forever loop in this, so let's go ahead and add that from the yellow control category. Grab this forever block. There's actually a way that we can move this. If we move it all the way up to the top, Scratch will automatically put all those blocks inside of it. So let's try this again. Click on the green flag, and whoa, that's pretty cool. I'm going to click on the red stop sign just to stop that. That looks really neat. I mean, it's all just blue lines. It's not a rainbow line, but it's really interesting how that happens. Let's click on the green flag. Just check it out some more. Nice. Now over time, the stage is going to just become completely blue, so let's just have it where it clears out the stage at the very beginning when the program first runs. So go to the turquoise pen category and grab this clear block. We'll just put it, and we'll put it right here above the forever loop, so it's not inside the forever loop. It only runs once. So we'll click on the green flag, and it clears out all the drawing that's been done previously. And when we click on the green flag again, it also clears out that previous drawing. So we're getting there, but I want to make this line a bit thicker. So I want to set the pen size to be a bit bigger than this. I'm going to grab this block and put it outside of the forever loop. And let's say I want to make the pen size 8 instead of just 1. Whoa, that's weird. What happened? I'm going to stop this. Oh, I see. I've accidentally put set pen color instead of set pen size. These blocks look really similar to each other, so you want to be sure you're grabbing the same block. And if you ever see something weird happening in your program, you can always look back at your source code and try to figure out where it's going wrong. So I'm just going to disconnect that, get rid of this, and set this in its place. And change this to 8. That's nice. Well, I mean, the pen color is still set to this red color, but we'll fix that later. What we can see now is that, okay, the line size, the pen size, is 8, so it produces much thicker lines. So next, we want to make it so that the pen color just gradually changes over time. It just changes to a different shade of color. We can do that with this block. Make sure I'm grabbing the right one. Change pen color by 10. I'm going to put this inside the forever loop because we want the pen color to constantly be changing. So I'm going to click on this. There we go. We now have our rainbow line. Nice thick line, changing colors, going through all the colors of the rainbow. So we can change this if we want the pen color to just change by a little bit. So now it'll just change by 1 shade of a color instead of by 10 each time it goes through this loop. You can see, oh yeah, that's a much more gradual change. You can see yellow to green and slowly fades to blue, which slowly turns purple and then back to red. That's really nice. Or we could just make the change happen much faster by setting this to a bigger number like 30. Now you can see, yeah, each of these lines changes to almost a completely different color for the next line. Let's go ahead and just set this back to 10. So we're almost there. The one thing we need to add is a nice space background with some stars. We can do that by going to this area right here where it says New Backdrop and clicking on this Landscape Painting button that says Choose Backdrop from Library. And this will open up the backdrop library. Scratch comes with a lot of backdrops already that we can use. So I'm going to scroll down here and pick out to the one, I guess it's a little up here. Yeah, pick this one that says Stars and click OK. And this will change the backdrop to this star pattern right here. I'm going to click on the scripts area again. And then see the drawing dots code. This is pretty nice. Beautiful. So one thing you'll notice if you let this program run for a long time is that pretty soon the entire screen fills up with color. It'd be nice if we could just wipe that, say every 10 seconds it just starts over from a fresh blank stage. So we can do that with on the drawing.sprites code. I'm going to move this a little bit off to the side there. I'm going to add some code that just erases and clears the screen every 10 seconds using this clear block. So I'm going to need another one of these clear blocks. I guess what I'll need is go to the Brown Events category and grab this when green flag clicked. So now there's going to be 2 executions. These scripts will run at the same time. An execution will start here and go down here executing this script. And meanwhile, a different execution will be starting here and going through this script and in the forever loop over and over again. So this script does all the drawing, and this script will be clearing it out every 10 seconds. So let's see, I'm going to need a loop. So I'll go to the yellow control section and grab this forever block. And I'll want it to clear, but I don't want it to just constantly clear because this will just be clearing it over and over and over again. If I click on the green flag, you can see nothing gets drawn because as soon as it gets drawn by this script is also constantly clearing it, so we're not going to end up with anything. Instead, I'm going to grab this block that says wait 1 second. I'll put it above here, and I'm going to change this to 10 seconds. So now when the execution starts here at when green flag clicked, it'll go down to the forever block, and then the execution says, oh, okay, I need to enter inside the forever block. And when the execution hits this wait 10 seconds block, it won't go down to the next block immediately. Instead, it'll just hang out here on this block for 10 seconds, and then go down and clear the screen. And then it reaches the bottom of the forever block, so it loops back up and waits 10 seconds again. So if we click on the green flag, you can see everything's running normally, creating these nice rainbow lines. Meanwhile, though, the execution is waiting here, but after 10 seconds, it'll go down there, and then boom, clear out everything that's been drawn. So that's our entire program. There's a little trick you can do when you click on the green flag. If you hold down Shift, you can enable turbo mode. So I just held down the Shift key and then clicked on the green flag, and you see turbo mode came up. And now when I click the green flag to run the program, it's going to run in turbo mode and go super fast. Whoa, that is really crazy. Oh, I'm going to stop that. It's making me dizzy. You can always disable turbo mode by holding down Shift and clicking the green flag again. You can see now turbo mode has disappeared. In most of your video games, using turbo mode will make the game run way too fast and you won't even be able to play the game at all, but it's a fun little thing that you can do sometimes. So in this lesson, we learned how to duplicate sprites and their code by selecting duplicate in the sprites area. We also learned about all the pen blocks and the turtle style of drawing by having a sprite move around with the pen down on the stage and drawing a line behind it. We also learned how we can change backdrops by selecting them from the backdrop library by clicking on this landscape button. And we also learned about enabling turbo mode by shift clicking on the green flag. So this was our first program. It isn't really a video game per se, you just sort of click on it and look at the pretty pictures that it draws. But it went over a lot of different programming concepts, and for our next project, we'll create a more interactive game that the player can play.